how can a floor structure be designed in a timber framed school? Let's look at some options. There are many options, of course, but one that seems to be quite popular is to use a floating screed. So that way you have your floor structure here, which could be, in this case, just do an cross-laminated timber, and then you could use an impact sound insulation mat. So that would be perhaps some kind of stone wool, mineral wool thing, 30 to 40 millimeters thickness, and then you put a screed on top of that one. And this screed, typically, from what I've learned, needs to be around 50 millimeters. Not only for sound, but another important thing is that you need to drive heavy machines on this one. You know, this one, sky lifts and stuff when you're going to work in the ceiling in the rooms. So this one needs to be able to take appropriate loads, and if it's too thin, it might crack. So 50 seems to be a good dimension of that, and that way we will have good acoustics as well. And then this CLT structure, then let's see, when you come to a separating wall between rooms, you have to, this one cannot be continuous between several rooms, because that way if it looks like this, and then you have a room here, you will get a lot of planking transmission this path, and that's not acceptable. So you have to go like this with the inner walls, and then there must be some kind of layer here as well, so that you're certain that the screed is free. Because when you have this one, you can choose the floor surface freely. You can use whatever you like up here, because you will get this layer is what takes care of the impact. This is the sound barrier, basically. And perhaps you don't want to use CLT because you might have issues with span width or something. So another option could be like a thinner CLT, maybe LVL plate, thin one. And then you use beams like this. That could be another option. That way you might be able to increase the span width in your rooms, which could possibly be quite important in a school. And when you have we'll go back to the previous one, it's easier to draw a junction like this. Another good thing with a screed is that this one is quite heavy, like 2,400 to 2,500 kilos of density. And when sound travels this path from the room above or the other direction, can go in both directions, of course, is that with this one, it becomes quite heavy, so you get damping in the junction, which is a good thing. If this construction is super light, it's probably going to be easier for the sound to travel down here, and you might get more less damping in the junction and more sound is transmitted. So with a heavier construction, you're probably gonna lose more energy before it goes down there, which is a good thing. And you also need to do something here in the ceiling in the room below, but you're gonna do that anyways. You need some kind of sound absorber in the school, some 40 millimeters class A, good sound absorber. But what you should be careful with a wooden frame in a school is that this might be too much sound absorption in the room, so it's gonna be almost perceived as too quiet, because you have to remember that a wooden frame is not like a concrete frame. If you've got the concrete structure in the building, it will reflect almost everything back into the room, because the concrete is so heavy and hard and stiff. But the wooden structure has some sound absorption built into the structure itself. So you can use that to your advantage. So in general, you have a better starting point in the wooden school, because you get some of the sound absorption for free, especially in the low frequency domain, which is one that is quite important as well to think about. And there are lots and lots of other options as well. You could perhaps use lightweight beams, the ones with this type of lightweight beams where you have a wooden construction in the middle. Oh, my drawing skills aren't good enough here, but I hope you get what I mean. This one, a thin layer of wood. Or you could use perhaps these wood steel hybrids. Let's see if I can draw something where you have like a steel I don't know the English technical term for this, but something like this, where you have wood, and then you have steel in the middle. And the benefit with this one is that you can route installations here, because you got air in between the steel frames. That's also quite useful in certain applications. So, and with regards to the CLT structure, if the span width becomes a problem, perhaps you could use metal beams to distribute the load, or you can use columns and hide them inside walls and such. But it takes, this is what's so fun with wood. There's so many parameters and they all have to work together. So there is no one size fits all solution here. Every project is unique, but I love it, because you constantly learn to be agile and flexible with your design in your projects, and that's a lot of fun. So let's end this week. In today's video, I'm wearing a gray shirt and this window pane gray jacket, darker gray, lighter gray. I think it was quite a good contrast here when you go with the patterns, same color as the shirt, and you pick it up quite nicely here. So it's a good transition. And then I chose this red pocket square, which is it's extremely vibrant red color. So I got some red here, dark blue and light blue, which I then pick up once again in the socks with some red lines here. So I really like this. Introduce a color somewhere and you pick it up somewhere else on your outfit. So you could use it with like, what are they called? Cufflinks, or maybe a little lapel flower, a little button here, or whatever. Somewhere you just hide the same color once again. It's a really cool effect that I like. Have a nice weekend. See ya.